shed more light on the outcomes of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's high-level participation in the Africa-France Summit in Nairobi, where Egypt's vision for global financial reform and regional security took center stage. Joining us over the phone, Dr. Ahmed Khattab, Professor of Economics and Political Science, member of the Egyptian-Canadian Council. Dr. Khattab, great pleasure always having you with us.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
Well, first of all, talking about the participation of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in general on this great France-African summit, and in particular participating for the session of reforming the international financial architecture and access to sustainable finance, which is one of the major challenges facing the continent. How do you find, first of all, the participation of President el-Sisi at the summit and at such session?
First of all, let me send by the name of all Egyptians a special thanks to our leader, President el-Sisi, for a wonderful achievement and wonderful visit to Nairobi and the participation in Africa France Summit. President el-Sisi in this summit sent a lot of positive message about not only Egypt but about all Africa key countries, and send a message of the participation between Africa and France and all Europe in many different investment fields, especially related to infrastructure, is very important and very effective in this day, especially after the war of Iran and USA and the close of Strait of Hormuz. And the Sisi in all meetings stressed and consisted in the investment file related to borrowing rate to all African countries, especially the borrowing money related to infrastructure and agriculture and the green economy is very important, and all the international institutions should borrowing all African countries for long-term investment and not a short-term investment. And the participation between Africa and the French and all Europe should be dependent in participation of investment, not only financial aid. And I think the President sent a lot of positive message also about Egyptian economy, and the Egyptian infrastructure is ready to open and to accept a new foreign investment, and Egypt is a gateway to sustainable investment in Africa. I think also we discussed the acceleration, geopolitical and economic transformation, reshaping international relations, especially in raising the global competition over influence, trade, energy, strategic alliance, and also the city focus on the implication of recent regional and international development and how countries in the global south, particularly Africa and the Middle East, are negative this rapid changing environment. Also, I think a lot. I think the world appears to be entering a new phase of international competition, and I think we are witnessing a transition from a larger unpolar system into a more competitive multipolar order. Major powers are now competing through economic influence, supply chain, energy security, technological leadership, strategic infrastructure investment. This competition is particularly visible in Africa and the Middle East and Russia. I think during this meeting also and during this summit, strategic importance of Africa, Africa become a central to international strategy calculation. Africa represents one of the fastest growing population globally, a massive natural resource, critical mineral needed for clean energy transition, expanding consumer market, strategic lithium route. Additionally, Africa economic are increasingly seeking diversified partnership behind the traditional alliance. And I think also this city concentrated on economic transformation, investment and development also. Many international summits emphasize investment and development partnerships. I think key outcome may include infrastructure financing, renewable energy investment, industrial localization, agriculture modernization, digital transformation projects, transportation and logistics cooperation.
Exactly.
And also green economy and sustainability is the main important topic this CC concentrated during this summit. Green finance and sustainable development are now central themes globally because the climate change is no longer only an environmental issue, it has become an economic challenge, a food security issue, an energy issue, a development issue. Countries are increasingly shifting toward green bonds, renewable energy, sustainable infrastructure, climate resilience, agriculture. This transition also creates a new financing opportunity for developing economy. And Egypt also regional role, Egypt's diplomatic position, Egypt positioning itself.
And out of this position, Dr. Khattab, I'd like to ask you, how can Egypt out of this position and actually out of being out of such a personal engagement and personal contact with the head of states and of the African continent and of the world, how can Egypt be a real bridge for trade and investment of the African continent?
Yes, Egypt is pursuing a multi-dimensional strategy based on regional stability, economic diversification, energy largeship, African cooperation, strategic international partnership. Cairo is also working to strengthen its as a role as a regional energy hub, a logistics gateway, a diplomatic mediator, a development partnership within Africa, economic reform and some challenge. Also, Egypt continue implementation economic reform despite a global pressures. The challenge includes inflation pressure, global supply chain dispersion, currency violation, rising debt services cost. However, the government is simultaneously pursuing industrial expansion, private sector participation, infrastructure development, and export growth, foreign direct investment attraction. I think also a lot of public concern and criticism, debt and borrowing debt, one of the major domestic debts concern the public debt also. But in Egypt, there is two major perspectives: support are growing financed critical infrastructure, modern transportation network, improve productivity, energy and industrial projects create a long-term return. Economic reform requires transition financing. I think also the core is maintaining balance between development, finance, and debt sustainability. Future expansion. I think several major trends are expected: continued restructuring of the global alliance, stronger South cooperation, competition over energy and the trade routes, increased investment in Africa, expansion of the sector, greater importance of food and water security. A country capable of balancing economic reform with a social stability will likely gain a strong regional influence. Thank you very much for your interview, and thank you for your wonderful question. And I hope in every summit between Egypt and Africa, we will have a B2B meeting reflected positively to the Egyptian economy, and the private sector participation in this summit will also be add value for the economic position of Egypt.
Yes, Dr. Ahmed Khattab, Professor of Economics, member of the Egyptian Canadian Council. Many thanks for your insights and for being with us. Short break and we'll be right back.